It's time to kick up your life with Master Mel.
You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records you thought never could be broke.
Learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer. As she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Master Mel uses her experience in martial arts, nutrition, fitness, and psychology to help you kick it up to the next level of mastery in your life. And now, here's your host, Master Mel.
Hi, and welcome to Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel. I am Melodee Meyer, and I'm so glad you're here today to talk about confidence. Confidence is your secret weapon, and we have a special guest today, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Jennifer Freed. Now, Jennifer is the author of several books. We'll talk about some of those today, and she makes ongoing national media appearances and is a national trainer and a keynote speaker for social and emotional learning best practices. Jennifer is the co-founder and director of the highly successful teen program called AHA, which serves more than 5,000 families annually in the state of California. AHA creates positive attitudes, social harmony, and bridges the achievement gap. Let's give it up for Dr. Jennifer Freed. Woo-hoo! I'm so glad that we finally made this happen. Thanks for being here.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. And what I'm noticing is it's a contest who has a bigger smile. I don't know.
I know if I get closer to the camera, my smile gets really, really big. Uh-oh. For those of you who are listening to us on radio or on iTunes, you missed that. But you can catch it all on video on my website, mastermel.com. Anyway, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here and talking about confidence, because I know you're in your work with teens, you do a lot of work with teens on confidence, and I think it's such a great time to be doing that. But many people, as they age, actually start, even if they had confidence, at some point they start losing it as well. So I want to go over some practical steps today on how we can increase our confidence. But before we do that, why don't you tell us a little bit about why confidence is so important in what it is that you do and what you teach?
I think confidence, Mel, is fundamental to enjoying our life because it means going with trust. And if I trust myself and I feel good about myself, then anything that I do is going to be illuminated and more enjoyable. I think people that suffer from a lack of confidence actually are hesitant in most aspects of their life and are second guessing themselves and feeling self-conscious and filled with self-judgment, and it's a real setback for people to have the kind of life they want. Whereas confidence is like a free ride, because when you're confident, you just try all kinds of things, and it's not about winning or losing, it's about enjoying the game.
So if there's two people in a conversation or a relationship or in a job situation that both do not have confidence, what can we expect to happen in that interaction?
When people don't actually have inner confidence, they're always posturing, they're always defending and rationalizing and blaming and scapegoating. When I don't have confidence is when I'm looking for a reason to be a victim. And, I have those days, poor me, that happened, that didn't happen, this person called me, this one didn't call me, but none of that comes from confidence, which in its deepest form is a connection to spirit and self, where you know you're a vehicle for the divine.
So when you have two people that have confidence, some people would think that would create conflict.
No, arrogance creates conflict. That is a very unreal picture of confidence. Posturing is confidence. Confidence is a centered trust in oneself and a feeling of well-being. It isn't, I'm better than you. It's not righteousness. It's not superiority. True confidence doesn't have to brag, doesn't have to promote. It's an essence, really. So two people with confidence, what I find, because I hang out with you and you're confident, we just spend a lot of time talking about ways we want to help and improve the world and have more fun. Because when I'm truly confident around other confident people, the conversation is about transformation and happiness.
Yeah, I thought it was important that we actually define what confidence is and also what it looks like. So as we talk about how to develop it within ourselves so that we can have the things that we want in our life and have more fun, like you said, that'll be clear that what we're talking about. We're not talking about having a grandiose self or feeling better, like you're better than other people.
Oh, gosh.
Good. Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that's clear for all of our listeners, because that's really not that interesting to us.
So the puffing up, I'm a big peacock and I know more and you're less than and all of that, that's the opposite of confidence. That's based on fear and unprocessed grief. And we've seen a lot of that in the media lately. So bullying is never about confidence. It's from a fundamental lack of confidence.
Can you give us a little bit of your background so people understand how it is that you know all of these things that we're talking about?
So I have a number of trainings that I've been lucky to be part of. One is I've gone through graduate school. I have my PhD in psychology. I'm a trained mediator. I'm a trained national consultant for EMDR, which is a trauma therapy. I'm also an author of about 6 or 7 books. I've spent my life studying this stuff, basically. And also, I'm for now 40 years a psychological astrologer, so I'm really passionately interested in what people's patterns are and how to make the best use of their lives.
Yeah. So when you're working with teens, how do you address this whole idea of confidence?
Well,
because nobody really wants to go to a confidence building class, right? I mean, if you were to put up a poster saying, "Come boost your confidence," is that exciting for people?
I think it will be. I'm actually going to be offering a class for adults called the Confidence Training in April. And I actually talk to people all the time that ask me, how'd you get so confident? I think people are passionately interested in finding out the secret of confidence. And I know a few absolute key ways to become more confident. And the first one is never what people want to hear. I mean, this is one where when I say it to them, everybody gets a little crestfallen. Really?
What is it?
It's not getting Botox, and it's not getting a new personal trainer, although that can help. It is keeping your word. And that sounds so basic, but the reason I am a terrifically confident person is because I do what I say. And when I make a mistake, I own that mistake and I repair that mistake instead of defend or justify it. So for me, the only truly confident people I know are their word. And everybody I know that's whining and complaining about not being confident and looking for external ways to buff themselves up and hasn't done the inner work, they're always suffering from being found out, from being a fraud, from being not good enough. And I honestly don't suffer from that, because for me, not good enough is just a pattern based on I don't show up. I don't expect I'm going to be perfect or great at anything. I just show up and keep my word. And honestly, that's 90% of confidence. The 10% I'll get into, but if you don't have that, the rest isn't really going to help.
How that translates into someone's professional life. Like if I have more confidence in my professional life, how does that actually, what are some tangible things that I can expect to happen from keeping my word and from being more present with what it is and following through with what I say?
Well, I'll just use myself as an example. I make a commitment to myself to exercise every day, to meditate every day, to drink water every day, to eat mostly protein, vegetables and fruits every day, And I make a commitment to my colleagues and my employees and my friends that I will do what I've said I would do with them. And that's a daily thing, because it's not like, because today I did it, tomorrow I can skip it. If I say to you, Mel, I'm going to meet you and Dave for dinner, I don't blow you off because Oprah invited me. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like OBO, or best offer, is such a plague of our society because everybody really wants to be something to somebody else. But that has nothing to do with confidence. Confidence is, I keep my word because I matter. It starts here.
And so when you start acting like you matter, then suddenly I sense that, and then you do matter.
And it's exactly like that. It's like I create an existence of somebody who has substance. Because I can give you an example. There's a friend who I dearly love, one of the sweetest people on the planet, but her word is like, just throw the water on the floor. She says something and she doesn't do it. Then she says why she didn't do it. And then she promises to do it. And then she doesn't do it. And really what happens is everyone around her just goes, oh yeah, right. Like their eyes roll, they don't think. And then she keeps wondering why she hasn't manifested more in her life. Because what she says just disappears in the air.
And so when you become more trustworthy, or people see you that way, then they hold you that way and they expect better things from you, yes?
Yes, and I think the one piece I want to say, because again, our society is so about others, is the way I became confident is really the agreements I've made with myself. So it starts here. If I say I'm going to meditate and exercise every day, and I don't do that, that's actually going to have more impact in how I am with other people than what agreements I've made with them. So I think to really build confidence, it's a foundation, and the foundation starts with how you treat yourself. Do you matter enough to keep your word to yourself? I have so many colleagues and friends who won't do what they say they're going to do for themselves because something else came up. And then they get tired, and then they feel resentful, and then they feel sick because it's here. It's like, if you don't start here, there's no going anywhere else.
Yeah. But it is nice to have other people to push that stuff.
Yeah, I would really like to say it's because they kept me up so late last night. I couldn't get up for my class this morning. It's because they didn't get their work in on time that I didn't complete my part of the work. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we hear all the time.
Well, with knowing you personally, it's something I respect about you so much, is that you are your word, and you have these incredible boundaries because of it.
Yeah.
So I used to think it was the boundaries, and that helped you keep your word, but I'm starting to think that it's maybe the other way around.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I'm writing an article right now that's going to come out called Confidence in Training. But what I talk about in there is, even with my children, they sometimes have been mad at me because on a family occasion, I'll go upstairs at 8 o'clock and they're hanging out, and they have felt, like, gosh, you're not into us, you're not that fun. But for me, since I've made a commitment to get good rest and to wake up refreshed, and I usually wake up at 5 or 6 to start doing, my self-care. Well, if I hang out with them till 11, which is fun, I'm not keeping my word to myself. So that's how it shows up for me. And I don't have a lot of leeway because I have a very sensitive constitution. So other people, I have a friend that can party till 1 at night and really party and get up and do everything she's committed to do at 5 in the morning every day. I'm like, wow, I wish I had that body.
Yeah, but then you know yourself. That's part of it. Yeah. So confidence comes from also just knowing what works for you, too.
And knowing your limits. I mean, that took me some time. It certainly through my 20s, I was a big mess because I would overextend or try certain things, drugs and alcohol, whatever I was into, and it was all fun, but it took a big cost from me personally because of how I'm built. And that was something I had to learn over time and create trust with myself about, well, now that you've actually got the intel on yourself, are you going to listen to it or pretend you didn't get it? Yeah. Well,
were you talking to me right there?
No, you're one of the healthiest. You are one of the healthiest, most vibrant people I've ever met. And I'm going to knock on wood right now, but you're my model of somebody who really pays attention to your health and well-being. And, you know, those of you that know Mel know this, but everybody wishes they could have the light that you have and the beauty that you have. And it's from the inside out.
Aw, thank you. That's really sweet. But it also comes from that place of knowing what I need in order to be able to function. I mean, I haven't always been really healthy, and I haven't always felt really well. And it's actually from those darker times that I was able to come up with some ways to be able to deal with that and then come through to the other side of it. So unfortunately, that's how we learn.
I think as healers, I'm a healer. I think it's through my greatest dives and mistakes and debaucheries and regrets that I actually have found a lot more compassion for myself and then the willingness to keep those commitments.
Yeah. You actually are bringing up something that I wanted to talk a little bit about today too, and we'll get back to our easy steps for confidence. But this whole idea of self-compassion is a big subject for me, and I work with people on this all the time. And of course, I'm in there, fighting for them and trying to help them with their self-compassion, which is, of course, a building block, I think, of confidence. Yeah. But I know even for myself, it's interesting. It's almost like we take the parenting that we had on the outside growing up, and then we internalize it to parent ourselves in a similar way. And sometimes those patterns are really difficult to switch or to upgrade.
Definitely. I mean, as a psychotherapist, probably one of the most common complaints that people have is that internalized critic or critical voice that they heard from adult caretakers growing up that became a routine in their own narrative. And I think with a lot of practice, we learn to distinguish that automatic critical voice from our own self. And in a sense, I've written another book recently called Bad Thought Gremlins, which is about thinking of it more as a humorous figure than as the truth. And I just met a waitress in Hawaii that said to me, as I showed her that book, Bad Thought Gremlins, she said, I realized a few years ago that I would never talk to anybody the way I talk to myself. And that day I just changed it. I just turned down the volume and said, I will only talk to myself or only entertain the voice in my head if it's treating me like I would treat other people.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So self-compassion and just taking time to, it's not even about self-forgiveness, because I think that's almost making it worse. That's just silly. But the idea of like, wow, this is who I am. And I think, when I look at you and I think about the confidence that I see speak of yourself, it is with great compassion for all the different parts and all the different entities within you. Has that been something you've developed on purpose, or was it something that that was more natural for you?
Honestly, I came from such a dysfunctional family that I started being in therapy at the age of 18 and a half or 19. And I made it my mission to heal those parts of myself that were sabotaging my life. And that has been a continued work that I do since then. And when I need to get help, I go get help. So I am not in therapy all the time anymore. I don't need to be because I have a lot of great tools, and plus I have a great life. But oh my gosh, when I hit a place where I'm stuck and looping and I'm not on my own side and I'm irritated with others, I go right into therapy again and say, help me, I don't want to be this way. And I can get through it pretty quick because now it's a positive habit.
Well, because you don't see that as that's trainable. You don't think that that's who you are. When people start identifying. Yeah.
When I go, well, it isn't who I am, but I know now that if I'm extra angry or triggered or pissed off or irritated with anybody, that's about me. That's not about them. That's my work. Because I know when I feel resourced and healthy and confident, everybody can have their stuff and I'm fine. But when I'm triggered, I don't want you to have your stuff and I want you to behave a certain way because then I'll be a certain way. And that's just my inner work. That's not about you.
So when you can differentiate your work from what belongs to everybody else, so what belongs to you, that must be able to give you more confidence because you know that you can do something with that. When you project it onto somebody else, then they may never deal with that, and then you are a victim to it, and that must be a terrible place to be.
Well, you couldn't have said it better. When I believe someone else has the power to make me feel or be a certain way, I am powerless and helpless. I only have choice about how I am when I decide that it's about me, not about them.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got this number one that's 90% of what confidence is about.
Your word.
Yes, I like it. I actually really like it. Number two, what is it?
Number two is posture.
Posture. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, it's physiological. Confidence, and they've done studies on this, the Wonder Woman pose. It's like how you are physically occurring is how you feel inside your body. It's neurological. If I'm walking like this and just slumping around, it signals to my brain that I'm feeble and I am grumpy and I'm not very confident. If I make sure, which I do a lot lately, to sit back with my shoulders back, my chest out, my posture erect, that actually telegraphs to my entire physiology that I'm strong and I'm capable. So posture is an enormous thing, and you won't see confident people that are really bent over or shuffling around or, it doesn't go together.
Yeah, I love this. I actually did a whole show on this a little while ago about the relationship between the brain and the body.
Absolutely.
And there's all these theories that, it's the brain that determines how the body, and then there's other theories where the body and the positioning and so forth actually helps send signals to the brain. And really, I discovered really in that show that it's more of a ongoing feedback loop, that where one is feeding the other and the other, like it's just a big circle.
It's a very powerful relationship. How we live as physical structure beings tells our brain how we are. How our brain accesses our body in terms of posture also tells our body how we are. So it has a lot to do with wellness too. So it's unnatural for us, by the way, to be sitting. That's a creation of modern times, and it's horrible for posture and circulation and all of that. And especially these days, I'm writing all the time, and you're at the computer. Here we are. So posture becomes even more something you have to aim for versus something that is coming along with just being a human being. That's number two.
That's number two. What comes after number two?
Number three, and this is probably my favorite, it's having positive conversations. So this is about choosing to focus on what's good and great and what you're grateful for in your life, And more than anything, and I think this is my favorite part of life, is saying great things about people and loving people and making that your absolute pledge every single day. And that gives me more joy and confidence than probably anything. Is, noticing you and how extraordinary you are and how you put this radio show together and how you have your book coming out, and noticing what's beautiful, great, and good in other people is a total high, and it therefore connects you to what's great and good in yourself. So that's a big one. And part of having positive conversation is refraining from negative conversation, which is trying sometimes because people love to do it.
Oh my gosh. Gossip has so many different shapes and looks and colors, and it can all be packaged up differently. Like, I just want to share with you what's how and so, and it's just another form of gossip.
Yeah, and I have good friends that, we have great positive conversations, and then they'll say, but have you heard about so-and-so, and he's so this and she's so that? And I just say to them, I just want to have conversations about what's good about those people because I'm close to them. And, no one ever gets mad at me. I might be a buzzkill for them, but I just won't do it. Because it brings me down. And even in the political climate right now, I'm not really so much into talking about who's bashing who and who's that and this. I am going to go on record right now and say I'm for Hillary, and I am not against Trump. I'm for Hillary. And for me, and it's just everyone has their point of view, and I actually respect everyone's point of view. I'm just going to look at what I like about her and what I think she can do. And I don't need to be against anybody. That's just not helpful for me.
Yeah. Well, it helps you with your confidence. It helps with your health. It helps with your posture.
Yeah.
It helps with the conversation. Because, yeah, I had gotten into some heated discussions with people on that very subject.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. People love it. It's almost like addicted to those feelings of there's a thing about againstness that makes you feel like you're also with others.
Us and them is powerful.
Yeah.
Us and them is like the most primitive part of our reptilian brain. I mean, if you think about it, the amygdala is our oldest part of our brain, and it is absolutely about us and them and tribalism. And so when we get into these dramas about they're so horrible and they're so this, and we really feel that primitive allegiance to one side, and we feel like we're with that side, and it really gets into that whole adrenaline and cortisol, and it's very powerful drug.
Well, that's Hollywood's built on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Our modern stories are all about that.
Yeah, because they key into our survival stuff. Like, well, if so-and-so wins, it's all over. It isn't. But we do have our passions. And I think passion's important. One thing I did want to mention here, I have a colleague named Jim Peel. I hope you get him on your show, Melodee. And he has done this amazing website called Check Your Tude, and it's about attitude, but he's made this big distinction that boils it right down. We are either operating out of drama or service, and everything can be seen in terms of that. And to be confident is to be in service, not in drama.
Well, can you define for us drama in this particular sense?
Okay, drama is a place of victim. So whatever's going on, think of it like the red zone. The red zone is when you're irritable, you're blaming, you're resigned, you're cynical. It's all the kinds of attitudes that are about poor me, this isn't okay, you're not okay, I'm not okay. And it really is a basic attitude of something's wrong with me and you and the world. That's drama. Service is when we're committed, we're passionate, we feel a sense of great integrity, we feel like we're visionaries and we're coaches and we're mentors and we're offering something of real value to ourselves and others. And that's what I call the green zone, and Jim calls the green zone, and that's service. And it's a real big landscape, but it's very clear when you're in one or the other, because this is about confidence too. When I'm in the red zone, the drama, I'm never happy. I'm just not happy. I'm a lot of things, but happy isn't one of them, and peaceful isn't one of them. And when I'm in service, I can be exuberant and excited, but I feel like I'm really part of something wonderful and something joyful.
Nice. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Keeping your word, posture, positive conversations.
The next,
yes.
The next is, and this one I love, is get healthier. So in this article, I say, I hate the phrase stay in shape. Because if you are anywhere over the age of 30, that is just craziness to think that you stay in shape. You're either getting healthier every day or you're actually losing ground on your well-being and health. So to be confident is to understand that because I exercise today and ate well today does not give me permission for the next 3 days to be like, well, I did my aerobics, I did my good eating. Okay, now let's just party and let it all go, because good for me, I did stay in shape. So especially, and I'll be candid about this, for me, being over 50 means getting healthier is adding more things to do to be healthy pretty much every year. So there's no, especially with the body, there's no stasis. You don't get to like fix yourself in one healthy moment and then woo. It really is about every day getting up with a commitment to get healthier.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is no, people talk about plateauing to me all the time. It's like, there is no plateau.
No. And
you may not be getting the results that you want, but that doesn't mean you're on a plateau. You're actually going downhill now.
Yeah, we're either in accelerating our well-being, which I believe we can do at all ages, or we're in some form of deterioration or breakdown. And I don't judge that. Gosh knows, I've had my share of backsliding and justifying, but I think to be confident is about believing and knowing that every day you could get healthier than you currently are.
Yeah. Yeah, if you feel like you're going to drop over any time, that doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, if I can't, they say something like, who's going to die the earliest by who isn't able to squat. So flexibility is huge. And if we don't keep up our body as our finest instrument, we may be very productive, we may be very charismatic, but confidence is something that comes from every part of us working well.
Yeah. All the parts working to one over the other.
Yes.
Good. I like this. You're doing great. I love this. So Jennifer, what's number 5?
I think this is, key, which is develop some kind of contemplative practice. The world is noisier than ever. And you're lucky if you have a religious path, because then you kind of have a structure through which you can get this contemplative practice. But I don't have that religious path. I'm a spiritual person. If you don't even want to think about the divine of your own understanding, that's cool. Then it needs to be some kind of music or creativity or writing. But I think having a practice where you're checking in with your inner nature on a daily basis is also about getting in touch with that sense of yourself that is not penetrable by outer doubt or outer cynicism.
Okay. I want to talk more about this because I know you're talking about meditation and
Yeah.
all these other things that I like to talk about. Let's talk about that a little bit more, about different types of contemplative practices when we come back from this.
Thank you.
Kick up your life. We'll be right back with Master Mel right after this. Are you too busy to eat clean? Do you need to boost your energy, tone your body, and burn fat? Then it's time to treat yourself to the cleanest, high-quality protein supplement available. Introducing Whey Clean. Whey Clean is a completely natural, non-denatured and bioactive protein from the milk of grass-fed cows raised by the Amish, the old-fashioned way. No pesticides, hormones, gluten, soy, or GMOs. Want to know if your protein is clean? Read the label. How many ingredients? Are they all real? Can you even pronounce them? Whey Clean uses only 4 of the highest quality real food ingredients available and leaves out all the fillers, thickeners, additives, and sweeteners the other guys use. Don't compromise. You deserve the best. Go to cleancut.com. That's clean, K-U-T.com, and get yours today so that you can eat clean and live happy.
All right, welcome back to Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel and my wonderful guest, Dr. Jennifer Freed. Thanks again for being with us, Jen. I really appreciate it. We are going to talk now about something, of course, is very dear to me. I have a degree in spiritual psychology, and I studied that because of my own interests in what is spirit, what is the mind, what is the brain, how these things all work together. And you were just talking about one of the easy steps for building more confidence is to have a contemplative practice. So let's talk about what that means. And I know sometimes people tune out when they start hearing anything that reminds them of religion or something that scares them like that. Let's define what we mean by spiritual to begin with. How's that?
Well, to me, if you think of somebody with a great spirit, it's something ineffable. It's something you can't pinpoint, but it's as if you could see it. It would be like a really bright light that's just all around them because something about them is really enthralled with life and it's contagious. So that isn't from our ego. Ego is what Brene Brown calls the great hustler. Ego is what's in it for me. And people that have a lot of what's in it for me may be powerful, but you don't really around them feel a sense of joy. You can feel intimidation. But people with great spirit, you want to play with them. You want to be part of them. And how do they cultivate great spirit? It's by actually taking time to listen to the still small voice or the still small sense of nature in each one of us. So some of us meditate, some of us practice mindfulness, other people make music, other people dance. But everyone I know that has that great spirit is connected to self, capital L, S, which is the great self, the over self of us all, and isn't so preoccupied with small s, me. But to get in touch with big S, you actually have to have time to listen, learn, tune in to that part of you that's connected to the bigger everything.
So we all have a different version of what that is.
Exactly.
Yes, some people can identify that as God or as some religious figure of some kind, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. It's whatever. And some people use nature, and some, we all have our own sort of path into that. Yes.
Yes, and for me, I just delight in people whose path is sincere. And it doesn't matter to me, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, pagan, nothing. I love Bill Maher. He's a devout atheist, but he is jamming on getting to know his treasure in himself. And so I don't care. Like, just make the time to know what your gifts are, because you won't know them by always being dialed into somebody else or something other than quiet divine nature.
Yeah. So what are some habits that we could adopt that would help us with this step here, with having contemplative
Practice.
practice?
Big word to say.
Why can't I say that?
Contemplative practice.
What are some ideas?
I'll tell you, there's a game I play with my partner on a daily basis or every other day, and it tunes me right in to get me more in the mood for it, which is we're driving in the car, or we've woken up or about to go to work or whatever. There's always some minutes. And I say, let's each say 3 things we're really grateful for right now. And I'll say them, and then she'll say them. Or I'll say, I'll go first and say a few, and then you go and say a few, which will remind me of a few. So we do that game. And then another game we play is, what do you specifically appreciate about me today? Because I think so much of this divine nature, and then we do it both ways, obviously. But to me, so much of this divine nature is about gratitude and appreciation. If you stop, as I do often, and look at creation, right now I'm looking at hills, I'm looking at ocean, I look at my cats. If you really spend a moment considering creation and that we live here, it could blow every circuit in your brain if you really took in what we actually get to be, human beings in this physical world. And it doesn't take much to get to that space if you're looking for it, if you're really willing to feel it or listen for it. So it's even something like, for me, the birds wake me up in the morning, and see if I can actually listen to what their songs are like instead of going, oh, bird song. Like, there's this whole animated world all the time communicating to us, and we're part of it. We're like the luckiest part because we actually have a frontal brain that gets to be aware that we're aware of it. Amazing. So why wouldn't you stop and just for a moment take it in and be awakened by the grandeur of it all?
How much time do you think, I mean, if somebody's never done any before,
Yeah.
Where do they start? What's your recommendation?
I think the easiest way to do it for most people right now is there's a million different apps of meditation that they can free download. Or my favorite is just go outside, sit down, and just open your eyes and pay attention to your breath. And as you inhale, take in nature, and as you exhale, let go of everything else. And if you do that for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, you're meditating. That's it. You know, it's not that fancy. Anyone can do
I know,
it.
that's what it tells me. People really think it's like it's a big deal, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know what to think about, and I don't know. It's like, you're making it way too complicated.
And also the funniest part to me is all the outfits that have to go with it. Like tonight we're going to a meditation event, and my partner's saying, I think you need to wear white, and I think you need this kind of a shawl. You can't sit with it. I'm like, come on. I don't think the design of anyone's understanding has really got a dress code. I don't know. Maybe you do.
But what do we know?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So are those your main points, or do you have a couple more nuggets before because I want to talk about some of your books that you've got happening.
I think to sum it all up, if you keep your word, if you have positive conversations, if you really constantly work on having a better posture, if you every day wake up to be healthier and more joyful, and if you really practice some kind of quiet with yourself or nature, and then shower the people with love. The gratitude and appreciation is the strongest practice of getting out of ourselves, especially because I do work with teens, and the teen brain is hyper self-conscious, but I don't think that's just teenagers. And there's nothing good going on in here. So when we're all about ourselves and how's my hair and how's my skin and am I fat or thin enough, or am I built, or does Mel like me, am I doing okay? That takes up so much space that we actually have no room to be confident. So real confidence is in service and in appreciation and gratitude of what is outside of you and yourself too. Like, I'm really appreciating today that I look okay on this visual thing, which I usually also, no, but I'm like going, hey, I look all right. And, you know, so it's just taking the moment to be appreciative. It's like there's so much of a default to look for what's wrong and what could be going wrong and what to be afraid of, especially.
What could be better?
Yeah, what could be better? The grass is greener. So here's the big overall confidence thing. Keep your grass green by keeping your word and doing the rest of the stuff, and then noticing how green it is, and not looking for the next grass or who's got the better grass, because your grass is just good. It's good grass.
It is good.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And you know, this show is called Confidence is Your Secret Weapon. And the reason why I use that as a title, because nobody's really talking about this too much. That's why it's kind of a secret, in that people want to sell you tools for this and for that, and there's an app for that, you know. And it's all kind of external, and it's all for sale, and it's all like, you know, kind of got to get that insider line and hack this and hack that. When really the secret is that it's already in us. That confidence is already there. You just need to, if I was interested to use the idea of grass, and we have to water it. We have to take care of and nurture that confidence within ourselves, because it's already there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I know you know, I've been to different AHA events. I love AHA, the work that you're doing with teens. And I'm excited as I watch it grow, and, you know, and my prayers for that being, you know, a big national program helping teens all across the country. What I love, and, you know, one of my favorite events that AHA does is the Sing Out event, where the kids get to sing and perform with a real band in a real venue. And it's interesting. You've seen, and I've seen, even in the show itself, just the confidence that comes from working and being weird, essentially, right? Being encouraged and supported through that process when they start really scared. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and it's good timing, because there's a documentary being made about Sing It Out by an amazing group called Creative Spark. And on my Facebook page, Jennifer Freed, You Can Be My Friend, or Jennifer Freed, PhD, you can find out even more about Sing It Out and see this amazing 3-minute trailer. I'm so thrilled with it. But basically, Sing It Out has all the ingredients in our confidence training that we just went over, because we start with kids that have been abused or really marginalized or oppressed in numerous ways and have no voice or very low voice in terms of confidence. And we take them through a 14-week training in which they use song as a way of expressing their true self and their voice. But actually, the singing part is just the vehicle. What really goes on is we're meeting in this community for 14 weeks in which they've got to be on time. They've got to keep their commitments to themselves and the people in the group. They've got to learn material. They've got to come back and be accountable for that material. We end every single group with gratitude. We talk to them all the time about their posture and what they eat and how they express themselves in terms of conversation and gossip. It's all this stuff, but it's all through here. You can learn to sing with a rock band and perform in front of 400 people. And they go from people that have been really literally beaten up or emotionally beaten up to people that are standing, getting standing ovations for singing a song that's from their heart in front of a huge crowd. And it works. And this is a lifetime impact for these youth. It's great.
Oh my gosh. Even just talking about it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
And makes me cry.
Yeah.
And I love going to that show, and I stand there and I got tears running down my face and watching these kids just like totally be in their element and just so proud of themselves. That's the coolest part, is not just how good they are, because they're fine. It's not about talent.
No.
It's about them like really loving themselves and being proud of themselves.
And hey, listen, the biggest fear is public speaking and singing. And these kids come in, and I'm not exaggerating, terrified, many of them. They can't even hold a mic. They're shaking so bad. Numbers of weeks, they're sobbing even to be able to sing the first verse. Think of the courage to go through 14 weeks till you get to the place where you can hold the stage by yourself with a band. Wow.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's so good. Cool. Now tell us about Peace Q, your new book.
Yeah, well, that book, I want to actually feature a couple books before that. Peace Q is coming out in December, and that's going to be, to me, one of the most handy books for everyone you can think of to actually start living a peaceful life inside of themselves and offer that to other people as well in intimate relationships, but in community. It's really a very practical book on how to develop what I call Peace Q, which is like IQ or EQ, but it's our capacity to be peaceful within and peaceful with others. So that book's coming out in December, but a book that just came out this week, here it is. It's called the AHA Method book, and it is a really useful book, an inspiring book about how to work with teenagers and create the possibility of social and emotional intelligence in teen leaders. And it's based on 20 years of research and experience. It's written in a friendly style, but it just came out on Amazon, so I'm pitching you that book. And my favorite book is Lessons from Stanley the Cat, and the new editions just come out on Amazon as well. And this book was really when my cat of 19 years died. He somehow transmitted to me these amazing lessons, and this artist from Sweden has done the illustrations. They're outrageous, but it's not a children's book. It's an everyone's book about simple lessons that a lot of my friends who read the book a lot say they just pick it up, you know, this day or that day to remind themselves to plug into what it's like to be fully alive and joyful.
Yeah, I love that book, and I love giving it away as a gift too. It's a great gift as well. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. How can people find you and keep in touch with you, find out what you're up to, and start a conversation with you directly?
I would love to hear from all of you through jenniferfreed.com. It's FREED.com. That's my name. That's my site. I'm a frequent contributor to Goop and now Mind Body Green. And you can find all my articles on the website, jenniferfreed.com. And I would appreciate hearing from people how they like this, didn't like this, ideas they have, because the confidence training is going to happen here in Santa Barbara in April, and I'd love some of you to come here and take it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. And for those of you who'd like to stay in touch with me, remember to go to mastermel.com. I love to continue the conversation there as well.
And Melodee, I just got to say, everybody, she is the real deal. She's the light. Follow her, and it's going to explode for you and your friends in terms of what's possible and what can happen that will really be of value to you. So thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Hen.
Okay.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel. Each week, learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer as she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel every week right here on Radio Star Worldwide.